What's up, everyone? Today we're going to talk about cleaning some clutches. So we're gonna go ahead from this point. You really, this is very simple to get to this point. This bar I have already had off and everything. So anyhow, we're gonna take these clutches. We're gonna take the primary off and check the secondary and see if we need to take it off. But we're gonna show you how to clean your belt and clean your clutches. All right, be right back. Alright, so on this unit, I'm going to go ahead and remove this bar. I opened this stuff up last night. I did not want to leave the bar disconnected all night. I'm not going to take the secondary off because I can clean it in place, but I'm making this video mostly because I see a lot of people on the Polaris Facebook page complaining about needing a one-way bearing, which is not near as common as you think, and you can actually save your one-way bearing by doing this every time your belt box is open. On Polaris, this bolt right here is a reverse thread, so it's righty loosey, lefty tighty. So first off, you'll notice I put this bar in here, and you'll also notice that I did not put it through where the parts move, because you don't want to damage that at all. So that's pretty important. May need to double wrench it. Nope, I got it. So this thing is right hand thread. It comes right out. Make sure that you get the plastic grommet with it, and also make sure when you take this off, it has to go underneath the axle boot and it'll come right out. Just don't let it overwhelm you. The next step is through the same process under the axle boot. There we go. Now, this is the puller. I'll put the part number on the screen right now. It's from East Lake Axle. Okay, and that you hand thread all the way in. I believe this is a 7/8. Yeah, 7/8. And this is just a 7/8 wrench, and look at that. It's already ready to come off. That clutch is already loose. The secondary has to be released. So just use your fancy little Polaris tool and push the belt down in there. I have a small flat bar that I put in here. Alright. That should give us enough to get this clutch out. There we go. That's better. And it'll just come right out. At this point, you'll want to go ahead and take your clutch puller out because you don't need it in there anymore. Okay, now that we have the clutch off of the bike, we're going to blow everything out real good. See all the dust? Now, this bike, it has a lot of dust in it, mostly because I ride it. I mean, I don't mess around, but... Okay, now, this is your one-way bearing. See how nice and free it is? Okay, on this bike, it goes both ways. Some it's like that, some it's not. Inside the sheave, let's see, right here, this is where it usually gets hung up. You want to make sure that you blow that out good, okay? That's what most people do to clean the clutch, not me. I need a clutch that bites really well. So, I use brake cleaner, just Walmart special, cheapest stuff I can find, and Scotch-Brite pads. Which, obviously, you don't need a big pad, but I don't have any way to cut it out here right now, so I'm going to take this clutch. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to spray out around the bearing, okay? Most importantly, I'm not going to let that sit in there. I'm going to blow it right out, and I'm going to spin this bearing, okay? Okay, so this is still just a little bit moist. I'm going to spray a little bit of brake clean on my Scotch-Brite, and I'm going to use an in and out pattern and work my way all the way around this clutch several times. You can already see that I've made it around at one time. Alright, now I'm going to do the opposite direction, so it's almost like cross-hatching the clutch, okay? So I just changed my angle of the Scotch-Brite a little bit. Alright, see how dirty all that junk is? Now I've got a nice crosshatch on there. And I just blow dry it off. There you go. It's got a nice little crosshatch on it. That's all that needs to be done on both sheaves. So now we're going to do this one. Same thing. I recommend doing this every time the belt box is open. This saves your clutch, it saves your belts. If you have to open the belt box and you have more than about 10 hours on that belt, this is beneficial. And once again, brake cleaner. Clean out that bearing. And then the next step is just take some, these are just like paper towels, shop paper towels, and just get all that brake cleaner dried out the rest of the way because it leaves a touch of a residue. Dry everything off real good, then we're going to blow it out one more time and it'll be done. I like to sit mine in the sun to dry out real good. As you can see, the grooves are, you can still see the shine just a little bit, but from the grooves. But this clutch is essentially ready to go back into the bike. Now let's move to the secondary. Okay, so there's two ways that you can do the secondary. You can either take the clutch off and clean it, or so just use this little pry bar again. Okay, little pry bar got stuck. Alright, there we go. Here we've got the secondary, and my bike is not neutral or park. So, you need to make sure your bike is in park or neutral. Okay, and essentially we're going to do the same exact thing. We're just going to take that Scotch-Brite, the brake cleaner, We're not going to go crazy on brake cleaning this one. We're just going to, I don't want to get a bunch of brake cleaner inside my box. So I'm just going to move this thing around in the same kind of in and out pattern on both sides. I don't think you guys need to watch this process again, so we'll snap back and while we have it all blown out. Now remember, this isn't all belt dust. Your bike is drawing in dust from the dirty trails and everything too. So, you know, clutches get dirty all the time. That's why I always recommend to clean your clutches real quick anytime that you open the belt box. Just make sure that you don't get anything foreign on the belts. You don't want no chemicals on that belt other than Dawn dish soap and water. And that's where we're going to next. Okay, so now we're gonna just go ahead and scrub out with dish soap and water mixture in a 5-gallon bucket and a Scotch-Brite. And we're going to just scrub out the inside of this clutch cover. Alright, now we have the clutch cover clean. We're going to take our belt and we're going, this is my used belt. You should do this with a new belt for sure too. Okay? And we're just literally going to clean the edges of the belt really good and try to get any crap off of it. Okay? And this water's getting pretty dirty already, so we know that this belt was really filthy. I have a brand new belt. I'm not quite ready to change it yet. I'm going to get one more ride on this and then I'm going to change my belt because my next ride's a hard ride and I am a very firm believer in the 20-mile belt break-in, easy trail rides. And I don't easy trail ride very often, so a 20-mile trail ride is pretty hard for me to stay out of the mud and water. So anyhow, we're just gonna hose this bad boy off and just try to make sure that it's not all slimy feeling when I'm done. And the back side of the belt's not really necessary, but if you're gonna clean it, when in Rome. So anyhow, all right. We're going to just rinse this off and let it dry, and the next thing you guys will see is us reinstalling this stuff. Alright, so I just stuck the primary on here just to get it out of the way while I was working on other stuff. Okay, here's the rule of thumb that I like to follow. Okay, you can see the letters on Polaris and you can read it one certain way. So when you're looking at the belt box, you should be able to look down and read it just like this. Now, these belts are not directional out of the box. They are, however, directional once you've used them before. So it's a good practice to be in. That way you never have to guess which way the belt was when you took it off. Now I like to try to give this plenty of space myself. So I'll use the tool. This is an aftermarket tool, that's why it's so rusty. I lost my Polaris tool. So it just hooks in there and you can just get your belt pulled down in there as tight as you can get it. And then take the tool out. And then I actually like to, now that there's a lip created inside here, a gap, when you're doing this you'll see what I'm talking about. I like to just get my mini flat bar or pry bar and get that belt down a little bit further down into the sheaves. Okay, and that just gives me just a little bit more room to work with. Next, I take my primary clutch and I push it straight in like this. Okay. And I get it inside the belt on the back side first and then the bottom, and then I hang it on there. Then it's in place. Make sure your belt is free everywhere. Couple little smacks for good luck. Put your clutch bolt, which I've left everything on there. Okay, I never do anything more with this bolt other than blow the dust off of it. Okay, so I push all of these pieces about halfway down. I get it started in the clutch. On the bottom side of the axle, and then I push it back and it goes right in. Okay, we want to make sure that we get the plastic piece in. If this plastic piece is ever stuck or whatever, replace it. It's cheap and it is necessary. Okay, and then remember, this is reverse thread, so it's lefty tighty. And then it just takes a 18mm wrench or socket. I always give it a few bumps. You'll notice when I did this, I made sure that the clutch was in such a way that when I put my bar back through, it just goes right where it needs to be at. So at this point, I can just start tightening this clutch. I just get it as tight as I can get it with one wrench. And then all you do, since your bike is in neutral, you just roll the secondary and you can see the belt walk right out. And now the belt is right where it needs to be at. And then from there, all you're doing is putting your clutch housing back together. So I'm going to go ahead and end this here, because if you're doing this job, you already know how to put the clutch housing back on. It's not really a big deal. I just run a little bit of grease actually on the very end of this. I just rub it with a thin layer of grease, and I'll stick this bad boy on, and I will never ever RTV one of these things again. I think my cousin and I spent like 3 hours last night with naphthalene and scrapers removing RTV off of this thing. I took the back cover off and resealed it real good. The factory, there was 2 breaks in the seal in the back, so trying to make my boat so it's nice and dry and I don't have to keep draining my belt, because as you can tell right here, I've had this this screw off a few times.
Hey y'all, snorkel check.
It's a boat. It's a boat.
Who says that you need a Honda?
What's that?
I said, who says that you need a Honda?
We're just out here doing Honda stuff.
Yeah, on a player's boat.
It's a boat. It's not a Honda. I got the power